Welcome, citizens of Trick Nation. This is your President xIrishTricks speaking. I have no politics to share with you today, but instead an awesome gameplay from Gotham City Imposters. Along with that, we have a new episode for my Storytime series. Wow, what a bundle! I mean, right? Come on, guys, it's awesome. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that new little intro I just came up with off the top of my head. I've had that Trick Nation thing going on for a while. I just haven't really done anything with it. But hope you guys enjoyed that new intro. You're going to be hearing it a lot more. Unless you guys think it's really stupid, yeah, I might change it. But anyways, I'm going to stick with it for now, just so I can get a little more original with my videos, and blabbity hoobity herp. But anyways, in this episode, I want to talk to you guys about the creative characters and stories I came up with as a child, and they were very, very wacky. Now, obviously, my stories... Excuse me, I just burped. I had a chocolate shake. You jelly, bro? But anyways... moving on. The stories I came up with as a child had a lot of plot holes and whatnot, but I was 11. I mean, come on, what can you expect from an 11-year-old? The next, Stephen King? No. Anyways, as a child, I had all these wacky characters, and I just have to share them with you guys. I cannot let their legacy die off. Not a single one of them has left my mind. I remember every single one of them, so let's get going. Now, the most memorable character I came up with was Super Bob. Now, he was kind of like a spin-off of Superman, but he did not grow up on an alien planet. He was actually human that's got, well, at birth, the doctor accidentally bumped a shelf, and this chemical stuff fell on him, and when he became a teenager, his powers kicked in. But I actually was smart enough to come up with a backstory as to why this villain did it in the first place, because the doctor actually becomes a villain later on. Now, when I was little and I first came up with the guy, I wasn't thinking about the backstory or anything. I just wanted to make up a cool superhero. But as I got into my pre-teens, I was just like, you know what? Even though these characters are ridiculous, I'm going to try and keep their legacy strong and come up with some cool backstories, make it make a lot more sense. And this is where my story, creating became a lot more professional. I would try and fill in all these plot holes. I'm not perfect, but I try and fill in as many plot holes as I can when I come up with new ideas. In fact, I have a sketch pad next to me where I'm coming up with these new characters and ideas for my next story that I'm working on. It's going to be a sci-fi and outer space featuring a crew whose professions I'm not aware of right now, but I'm kind of going for a Star Wars, Star Trek kind of thing, I guess you could say, but a lot more realistic, not a long time ago in a galaxy far away, or Klingons or whatnot. Nothing like that. A little more original. There's not going to be a million different alien species. It's going to be a little more dark, I guess you could say. But I'm not going to share all my ideas because I always get nervous that whenever I share my ideas with the public, that someone's going to steal it, but that's just my paranoia. Anyways, back to Super Bob. He had two sidekicks. He had Super Duck and Super Pig, who were both regular animals who accidentally got exposed to some sort of chemical that made them humanoid animals, and that's like really weird and kind of dark and twisted, but I wasn't really thinking about that as a child. I just thought of him having animal sidekicks. In fact, my friends came up with the sidekicks. I just kind of just threw them into the story. I don't remember what the pig's name actually was. I know the duck's name was actually Chad, and my friend who made up the pig moved away, but not before coming up with another character, which was Super Turtle. And he was obsessed with turtles. Like, he used to be obsessed with pigs for some reason, and then his imagination brought him to turtles for some reason. I don't know. But he had Super Turtle, Super Pig, and Super Duck, and those were his sidekicks. And at one point, I turned this super team into a similar version of the Teen Titans because I thought the Teen Titans was the coolest show as a kid. It was like this really weird anime based off of DC characters in America, so... You know, it was an interesting idea. I mean, they don't make the show anymore, but as it was running, I thought it was the best show on Earth when I was little. But anyways, what else can I talk about? Because I've talked about so many different things with Super Bob. I haven't talked about any of my other characters. But, oh yeah, there was this other time where my friends and I all went to go see the Fantastic Four movie. And right after that, we all came up with our own superhero and turned it into our own Fantastic Four team. So we're basically just making up all these ideas based on other things, which isn't very creative, but, you know, we just thought it was really cool having our own little world of superheroes, and we even had stories where all of our superheroes would meet up, kind of like the Avengers and stuff like that. But back into the Fantastic Four thing, my friends and I came up with 4 characters, and my brother wanted to make a character too, so technically there were 5 people. And my character was Sir Steam. Now, Sir Steam was like a version of the Human Torch, only better. He had all the abilities of Human Torch, except he could control, like, steam, and he could turn himself into steam. He could turn himself into fire. He could create fire force fields. Now, of course, there's no science behind it, but when you're kids, you don't really care. You're just like, oh, that sounds awesome, give him that ability. I mean, of course, nowadays, you have all these really annoying nerds who just have to hear all the science behind it. It's just like, no, just accept it for what it is. It's fun, it's cool. I mean, it gets kind of annoying when people have to have proof for everything. I mean, obviously I have to patch up the plot holes in my stories if I ever want to publish them, but when it comes to comic books and superheroes, who really cares? I mean, it can make it a little more interesting when you can explain it with science, and your superheroes seem a little more believable. But besides that, I mean, I don't really care. If the superhero is cool, if his powers are awesome, I don't care about the science, alright? So on to the other characters. My friend who came up with Super Turtle and Super Pig came up with Odor Lad. Now, Odor Lad could control the stink around him, and he could also use the stink he had on himself to fire it at people, and just, I don't really know the whole story behind him, but that was one of my friend's characters. Another one of my friends who had Super Duck came up with this other guy. I don't remember what his name was, but I know what his powers were. He could read your mind, pick up things with his mind, levitate with his mind. He was basically a psychic guy. And then there was Electric Kid because my brother wanted to have a character too. So technically there were 5 guys, but 5 guys, burgers and fries. Yummy burgers. Bacon! Anyways, he was Electric Kid. He could control electricity, fire electric at people. Pretty cool, I guess. And then there was Arctic Boy, I think. I don't know his name. It was like Arctic something. But it's Arctic Boy, we're just going to call him that. He was bitten by a radioactive shark, and he had the powers of sharks. Like, he was resistant to all diseases. He could be super strong, swim super fast, and just beat up people. So those were a bunch of my characters I came up with. Only 2, I guess, but I can make a part 2 if you guys really want to hear more of my wacky stories and characters. This is xIrishTricks signing out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Your president is now leaving the building.